Hey, g'day, Mitch.
Hey, Ed. Ho, ho, ho. How are you down there?
I'm doing great. Just trying to get some holiday cheer down under, if you know what I mean.
Easy now, Ed. Hey, I was just getting the place decorated for the holidays, but you know what I like to do? Do
What?
you guys down there like watching holiday movies?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I like to find something a little bit different, though, to watch.
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we spend this episode unwrapping some hidden holiday movies and TV shows?
I love it. So tune in to Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Hi, this is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Halleck.
And welcome to another episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. Before we begin, a big thanks to everyone who has subscribed. Remember, how can you subscribe, Mitch?
It's so easy, Ed. A chimpanzee can do it. All you do is hit the bananas on the bottom and you're subscribed to the show. And you'll get notified every time we drop a new bunch of bananas out there. And don't forget to hit that like button, because it doesn't say that you and Ed and I are all going to go out into the movies together. It does tell the YouTube algorithm that people are actually watching the show. And it brings just thousands of dollars in the pockets of me and Ed. So thank you, America. Oh, it doesn't?
It doesn't, no.
Oh, what does it do? It just makes
it just tells people that they enjoyed what we're putting out. So that's kind of nice.
Okay, sure. Hit the like button too.
Boy, you've turned a bit into Scrooge McDuck. Is that what's happening?
No, it's the holidays, Ed, and I was just decorating the whole place, and you start getting that funk, and you need something to get your mind off of it, to get the ideas that there's only 20 days left or 10 days left, and next thing you know, bang, Christmas disappointment is all over the place. So there's nothing better than watching some Christmas movies, but forget that schmaltzy, sappy, ooh, let's hold hands and bake cookies Hallmark crap. Let's talk about movies and TV shows that happen around Christmas, but aren't necessarily so filled of sweetness you'll get diabetes from watching it.
That's a great intro. If that doesn't get you to want to watch what we're talking about, nothing will. And I've got to say, look, I do like a good Christmas movie. But the debate is it a Christmas movie if it happens at Christmas? I suppose that's the whole thing. And we've got some on the list. We've got a top 10 look at Christmas or alternate Christmas movies.
Yeah.
But I've got some on my list that are pretty much Christmas movies.
All right. I'm with you there, pal.
So that's all right. My first one I'm going to say is it's a gold standard. I don't know. It's a gold standard Christmas movies. And yes, it is a typical Christmas movie, but it's probably the most beloved, A Charlie Brown Christmas. And I know that
Ed.
I'm getting a bit sentimental only because
Why?
I love Charlie Brown and Snoopy and Peanuts. And in fact, I've got my Snoopy Christmas t-shirt that I wear every Christmas. But it's a great series. And interestingly, it's been showing every year, certainly in the United States, it's been showing every year. I know there was a great furor when Apple TV got hold of it, and people were up in arms because, this is a tradition. How dare you take away our tradition of watching it and everything like that?
You big corporate entity, soulless slug. Yeah, I think this is the first year. I don't think it's on.
I did read that they have backflipped and it's going to be available on PBS. I believe so.
Well, people were starting to burn down villages and loot and pillage. It was ugly. It was,
but it's a great TV show if you want to watch it. If you haven't watched it, there's so many Hallmark ornaments based on that Christmas series. What have you got on your list?
Well, this one here is not as blatant as that one because there's no Christmas in the title, but what's in the title is still cool. I'm talking about Batman Returns, Ed. That's the Tim Burton 1991 film. That was it 1991?
It was 1992, I think.
1992. I'm sorry, I took that back. What it was is a sequel to the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman movie, and it's not immediately thought of as a holiday classic, but The entire picture takes place over the Christmas holidays. There's the lighting of the Gotham City Christmas tree that opens up the film. There's the Miss Snowflake, or whatever her name was, the Princess Icicle, who gets pushed to her death by a bunch of bats that fly out of nowhere as the Penguin comes at her. And then the whole movie happens at an Arctic part of the zoo that's underground towards the end.
That's right.
And the closing scene is the Catwoman, who we assume is dead, Michelle Pfeiffer, is seen silhouette against the bat signal as Bruce Wayne, aka Michael Keaton, pulls away with Alfred the butler, and Alfred remarks, "Oh well, so Merry Christmas anyway." And he's like, "Yes, that's right, Alfred," and goodwill towards men, as he pets the little cat that he's found and looks woefully out the window. And then, like I said, we see Catwoman, we hear the music start up again. So it's not one's first idea of a Christmas movie, but I always thought it was a Christmas movie. But then again, what do I know? So
I think most people don't. I mean, is Batman Returns as beloved as the original Batman? No. I mean, no. I think they remember the Penguin and Catwoman.
They remember the Penguin eating that raw fish and biting the guy's nose.
Your nose could be.
And then they steal all the firstborn children, and Batman blows up a guy with a bomb. It's not your typical Batman movie, which again is kind of cool in a weird way as well. And then you've got I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Oh, Christopher Walken.
Yes, as Shrek.
Max Shrek, who was kind of like an early prototype of Donald Trump, who's in that film. He's this real estate magnate in Gotham. He's taken over everything, and he becomes this crazy villain and such. So it's just a strange movie. It's a Tim Burton whack job, crazy, nutty, kooky fruitcake of a film.
Which is perfect around Christmas. Perfect around Christmas time. We've got that. Well, I'm going to go to a few years earlier, 1984, to Gremlins. Gremlins is a fantastic Christmas movie. It's a dark Christmas movie, but again, people I think forget that it's set at Christmas. And you have that wonderful story from Phoebe Cates, I think, about how her dad got stuck in the chimney dressed as Father Christmas, and they found him like 3 days later. So there's lots of Christmas cheer. You've got those wonderful Gremlins, Christmas caroling, and it's a little bit of rambunctious fun, I think, at Christmas time, which is kind of, get rid of that sappy holiday spirit. Let's have a little bit of fun where, you're in a little bit of danger, but things work out in the end. Fantastic Joe Dante film.
From the mind of Chris Columbus, who would go on to write other movies, including direct the Harry Potter films as well. He got the idea for Gremlins when he had a really cheesy apartment in New York, and he had mice, and he was afraid when he'd fall asleep that his hand would hang over the bed and the mice would nibble at his fingers as he slept. That's where he got the whole idea of the Mogwai and coming out at night. It's kind of creepy, but yeah, that whole movie takes place at Christmas. Hoyt Axton is in Chinatown looking for a unique gift, and he goes into Key Luke's store and he buys the Mogwai, and he doesn't follow the rules. He feeds them after midnight and he gets them wet. And that's what starts the whole craziness. Because Ed, I know that because I as well had Gremlins on my list. But since you opened the present early, I cannot do that. So I'm going to jump ahead and say another superhero film, Iron Man 3. Yes, that's right. Robert Downey Jr. is back with Don Cheadle, and they're looking for trouble with your former friend or classmate or whatever, the one and only
Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce, who plays the bad guy.
I'm going to put up a picture of us right now.
Yeah, you and him are like this.
That's right. Remember, it's like that, and that's us. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So Guy Pearce plays the bad guy in this movie.
Yep.
And it's, again, set at Christmas time where Tony Stark's armor goes haywire. The Mandarin's in it, played by Ben Kingsley. It's a nutty, kooky kind of movie that culminates in the attempted assassination of the President of the United States as he's being hung above a makeshift Christmas tree of lights on an oil rig. And then Iron Man has to show up at the end of the movie with all his armor, and he saves the day. But again, not many people think of it as a Christmas movie, but I do.
Yep.
Iron Man 3 is my hidden gem of a Christmas movie. Go watch.
I'm talking Otters. I'm talking Otters, and Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas It's a TV movie that came out, was filmed in 77, came out in 1978, directed by Jim Henson, features the Jim Henson Muppets. It's introduced by Kermit, but essentially it's a whole story, and it is a beautiful heartwarming. I know this is counter programming, but it's a beautiful story, and is, I suppose, has become a bit of a perennial favorite as well, a little bit like a Charlie Brown Christmas. And if you can get a chance to see it, it's just really nice. So, you know, sometimes you do need a little bit of a warm, have a hot cup of eggnog and, some nice cookies, maybe some Christmas pudding, and put that on it, and you will.
Not to be confused with the Muppet Christmas Carol movie.
No, which is on my list as well, which is from 1992.
All right, well, I know. Okay, I didn't want to.
Is that on your list?
Thunder, but wait a minute. You know about my fear of Muppets that we've already discussed about.
Yes.
Sweetums is not in that show, is he?
Sweetums is not in Emmett, but Sweetums is in A Christmas Carol. I'm surprised I'm surprised you weren't terrified by my my giant koala.
Ed, they can't see below the waist. There might be a puddle of fear under my seat now. Anyway, Ed, moving along, I'm going to talk about another Tim Burton film that came out, and it has your friend and your number one fan, I guess, Johnny Depp himself in his earlier role as Edward Scissorhands.
Yes.
The movie, constructed Frankensteinish type boy put together by Vincent Price, who's just a misfit, and he just stumbles across a bunch of people, and he falls in love with Winona Ryder, and it's a love story, and it's a tragic ending as well, but kind of I don't know, pulls at your heartstrings because there's kind of a sweet little conclusion to it. It also has Michael, he's got three names. I can't think of it off the top of my head. He was the nerdy kid in the Breakfast Club, but he was all bulked up.
Anthony Hall?
Michael Anthony Hall, thank you very much. He's the bad guy in this movie. He plays like the jock Biff bodybuilder type of guy. And the good thing about this, at the end of the movie, I think the last third of the movie is all set at Christmas time and snow and all that stuff. Tim Burton's a big fan of that cold, wintry looks, such. And again, like I said, there's a real tragic ending and sweet and evil at the same time. It's a nice movie, but most people don't think Edward Scissorhands is a Christmas movie. But since I have a lot of deep-rooted emotional problems, I do. So I'm recommending you sit down and watch a classic, Edward Scissorhands.
Awesome. I agree. It's a great movie, and also they did a ballet version of it, which I saw.
Oh,
which was,
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was lovely. We spoke about Muppet Christmas Carol. Had I already mentioned that? Really, Muppet Christmas Carol, fantastic film with Kermit, the Miss Piggy, Fozzie. You had narrated by Gonzo and Rizzo the Rat, and starred Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge. It's again, the good thing I like about the Muppet movies is that irreverent humor, and it's not. It can be sweet and wholesome and have heart, but it's also got a little bit of a subversive edge to it, which I really like, which is fun. So if you get a chance to watch that, that's always good.
But again, a lot of these movies and TV shows that we're going to talk about, you can find, I think, everything right now on streaming. If it's not on Amazon Prime, it's on Netflix, it's on Hulu, it's on IMDb TV, it's on YouTube. I mean, hey, you never know. Speaking of stuff, I have one here, though, I don't think you're going to find readily, and I don't think you even saw it. It's a unique film. It's a horror Christmas movie.
Okay.
You're intrigued? It's called Krampus. Krampus is based on an Austrian folklore about this weird devil-like creature who has the foot of a man and a clove foot on his other foot or whatever. He's got a man's foot and a horse's hoof, and he's kind of like Santa Claus's evil buddy. He's like the anti-Santa. And as Santa's treating all the good boys and girls with presents, you always wonder about what happens to those jerk bad kids. Well, wonder no more, because here's what happens to him. This demon called Krampus comes and punishes the little bastards, and doesn't just put coal in their stockings. Oh no, he tortures them. He even takes them, I think, into hell. And this was a 2015, 2014 movie, came out, very low budget, I think about 14, 15 million, went on to make about 61 million. I didn't know what to expect. I walked into it thinking it was a comedy. It's got some dark comedic elements to it, but it's basically a horror movie set at Christmas time. and it has a very bizarre Twilight Zone ending, which I don't want to give away if you've never seen it. But if you're curious about it, or if you've never known what Krampus is or who he is and why the people in Austria and Europe fear this demonic creature around Christmas time, watch this movie and you'll understand. So my next pick for a hidden Christmas gem of a movie that you normally wouldn't watch is Krampus.
Well, speaking of Krampus, I've got a Krampus-related episode of one of my favorite TV shows, which I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, but maybe you've never heard of, the Aquabats Super Show. Do you know the Aquabats?
I know the Aquabats. I used to see them on Nickelodeon here.
Yes, I love their show. I've seen them live. I've backed their Kickstarter campaign. I've got all their albums, and season one of their TV series ran for 2 seasons. One of the episodes on, I believe it was season 1, was a Christmas themed one where the Aquabats take on Krampus, and it is hilarious. So if you get a chance to watch that, I don't know if they're on. I know the Aquabats actually have got an official YouTube channel, so they do release some of their episodes. They're just fantastic to watch.
Wouldn't that be cool? You can make a Krampus double feature one night.
Oh yeah, that's right. And that's only a short. And that's a family friendly sort of Krampus. You know, he's still a bit nasty and mean, but it's kind of cool. So
this movie here wasn't too horrific. I mean, the kiddies could watch it. It was spooky, but it wasn't like, you know, Halloween or Friday the 13th.
Like a Blumhouse sort of movie. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not that bad. It's not a Saw movie at all.
Yeah.
So there you go. I did not know you knew who Krampus was, and now I'm delightfully holidayly surprised, if that's a word. Speaking of fun old time stuff from a TV show, this is one of my favorites. This is SCTV. This is Second City Television from the early 80s. It started in the 70s. It was a half-hour show based out of Canada. It was kind of like a poor man's Saturday Night Live, but it had the most amazing, talented comedians on it. It had people like John Candy, Joe Flaherty, Rick Moranis, Eugene Levy, who just won an award for Ship's Creek or whatever that show's called. It was this never-ending.
Catherine O'Hara, I think, was on
Catherine
that as well.
O'Hara.
Yep.
Yes, who was also in the Home Alone films. This is where I first saw her. Harold Ramis, who went on to direct Ghostbusters and Stripes. He was in Stripes and he was in Ghostbusters as well. This was just a great TV show. And when they moved to NBC, they made them 90-minute long episodes. And they had Bob and Doug McKenzie and such. And it was about this fictitious town called Mellonville. And this is the local TV station. And all these characters were on this little TV station out there. And one of the best ones was John Candy's portrayal of a guy named Johnny LaRue, who was a real sleazebag of a character. He had always involved in some type of money-making scheme or whatever, but he was also the host of a TV show, and he was smoking cigarettes and he was drinking booze and taking drugs, and he was a mess. And in this episode, their Christmas special, it was kind of like A Wonderful Life, where Johnny LaRue sees what the world would have been like if he was never born. It has musical guest Dr. John. It's just a funny episode, and if you get a chance, watch it. It's this SCTV Christmas special. Like I mentioned, Bob and Doug McKenzie, everybody you know is in this one. It's a great way to find it. And I think most of these are on YouTube as well. But check out SCTV, one of the funniest shows ever on television.
Okay. There's a lot of good, there's so many good TV series that had Christmas specials. MASH, of course, you know, have had many memorable, you know, Christmas episodes and things like that. So as Mitch said, yeah, check out YouTube. There's plenty of them on there. My last two, I've got some honorable mentions, but my last two are really intertwined. It's Die Hard and Die Hard 2. People forget both of these are set on Christmas Eve. And most people remember, I suppose, Die Hard, but people forget about Die Hard 2, I think, a little bit, set on Christmas Eve. That's where, you know, you get, there's a lot of action in the snow. It's quite different, obviously, to the first Die Hard, which is, you know, essentially just Nakatomi Plaza inside. Both are great fun movies. In fact, I'm going to see Die Hard at the cinema. They've got a Christmas cinema season. They've got Home and Alone and a few others and things like that. And today it's Die Hard. So we're off to see Die Hard, which will be kind of fun at the movies. Again, is it a Christmas movie? Well, you know what? It's
It's
got,
as much of a Christmas movie as The Last Jedi is a Star Wars movie. Now, here's a little bit of tidbit that I don't think you know.
yeah,
I went to Industrial Light and Magic, or ILM, out there in California, the Lucasfilm people.
yeah.
And years ago, before all the computer CGI effects, they would do something called a matte painting, where they would get a piece of large glass. It was often shower door glass. It was really thick.
Yep.
And what they would do is they would have an artist paint images on it, and then they would project live action footage into the scene. So if you wanted to make it look like you were standing out in this massive field and you only filmed it in your backyard, they would film that portion of it and then project it into the glass where they painted the massive field.
Mhm.
At the very end of Die Hard 2, when all the planes are grounded and they land and he finds his wife, spoiler alert, I ruined the movie. As the camera pulls back, you see all the ambulances and all the police cars and the trucks and the fire engines, and it gets, the wide shot.
Yes.
That's a matte painting. And in the inset is the live action, the little
Yes.
small portion. That giant painting was at Industrial Light and Magic. The artist who painted it by hand was a Japanese artist. And you're going to like this. He was a huge fan of Kermit the Frog and Jim Henson.
Yes.
On all the doors of the police cars and the ambulance and the fire trucks, there's a face of a frog painted on all the doors. And it's one of those things that when you're up close and you see the glass right in front of you, you could see that. Probably not when you were in the movie theater because it's going by so quick. But I wonder, with all the technology and the 4K and 8K TVs, if you could freeze frame it and notice all the little frog faces.
I'm going to have a look.
So we'll ask anybody watching this if you can tell what I'm talking about. Put it in the comment section below. So that's a little known fact.
That's
Now,
good. Yep.
comic books. I was talking about Batman. I was talking about Iron Man. One of the best holiday cartoons ever made was the second episode of the Batman animated series that came out. This very second episode. It was called Christmas with the Joker, and that has Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, voicing the arch enemy of the Dark Knight, the Joker. And in this fun-filled episode, the Joker is out there up to his shenanigans. He kidnaps Commissioner Gordon, and he has all these riddles around town, and Batman and Robin have to go find him. And that's Christmas with the Joker. And it has the immortal song, Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells.
Batman smells.
Batman smells. Robin laid an egg. The Joker got away. No, the Batmobile lost a tire. And the Batmobile got away. We could put it up there. Put it in special effects. It's there. It's copyright free, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know about Christmas with the Joker.
And I've got some honorable mentions because this list is pretty slapdash, but that's okay. Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, everyone thinks Tim Burton directed it, but it wasn't. It was Henry Selick. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. But I think people think it's more of a Halloween sort of movie.
I thought it was a Halloween movie. It came out at Halloween time.
Yeah, but it's still linked. It's heavily linked to Christmas. So
well, it's got it in the title, so that kind of
that's
hurts
right.
it.
Yeah, so it does. Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. So it's really good. It's got a great score by
Danny Elfman.
Thank you. It just escaped me. And who sings the? He's the title. He's
Jack Skellington.
Yeah, he's the singing voice of Jack Skellington, but Chris Sarandon.
Oh, he's not the regular voice as well.
No, Chris Sarandon is.
Oh, really? Chris Sarandon from A Princess Bride and Fright Night, who actually lives about 4 miles from my house. That Chris Sarandon?
That Chris Sarandon.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I'm
going to go over his house tonight and bother him and say, will you sign my Nightmare Before Christmas CD? Thank you. I'm going to talk to that voice from now on.
Oh, that would be great. It's a ratings winner. So we've got that. Do you have any honorable mentions? Or
I do, Ed. I'm not done here. Just because you're all set to rocket out of there and hop around like a kangaroo doesn't mean I'm done. Now, you mentioned this earlier. You mentioned MASH.
I did.
And that's on my list. Not only is that my initials, Mitchell Anthony, Stephen Halleck.
Yeah.
But what other show based on a 3-year war that ran for 11 seasons has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but about 9 Christmas shows? the one and only Mobile Armor. Mobile. I had a stroke.
I am
on
not a
TV.
crook.
The one and only Mobile Army Surgical Hospital 4077 MASH. And we have many episodes when one time we had Hawkeye, Alan Alda play Santa Claus. Then we had Mike Farrell, BJ Honeycutt play Santa. And then we had Mr. Harry Morgan, Colonel Sherman T. Potter play Santa Claus. And multiple times they've had multiple Christmas episodes, but they're all fun. Actually, I actually sit down on Hulu and just find all the MASH Christmas episodes and watch them all together because I have no life whatsoever, and this is what I do.
That sounds
Now,
like a nice, yeah.
It is a nice thing. Now I have one left, Ed, and that's
I've got one left as well. So
okay, then you go with yours.
Okay, mine is
unwrap it, Eddie. Come on.
Okay, it's Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
So, Lethal Weapon. All right.
Lethal Weapon 1.
Yes. Yeah. Lethal Weapon 1. Again, Richard Donner. Oh, actually, you know what I forgot?
No, I know there's a okay, go ahead. I'll tell you about why that's a Christmas movie.
Oh, well, it's a Christmas movie because, well, it opens up the first Jingle Bell Rock. It starts with, where you see the girl in the building snorting the cocaine.
Jumps off she jumps off.
It ends with I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas movie.
Okay. I'm not saying it's not.
Well,
here's my little fact. I mentioned Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Shane Black.
Yes.
Writer and director. Lethal Weapon. Shane Black, writer. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. Again, a Batman and Iron Man type of thing. Shane Black. This guy, I think that last Predator movie probably takes place at Christmas that he wrote.
Yes.
He just puts all his movies at Christmas time. I don't know what it is, but if Shane Black's attached to the property, it's going to be set at Christmas. I don't know if that's his like little, auteur theory type of thing. I make it at Christmas. I don't know. Well, but anyway, no, Die Hard is a great movie. Lethal Weapon.
Yep.
Mel Gibson in his prime. 86, I think it was.
87.
Yeah, all right. With Danny Glover.
Yep. And
Brian James, who was eventually the bad guy in the sequel. Brian James was also from Blade Runner. He played Leon.
Yeah, Leon. Yes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my mother.
No, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. I'm thinking of 48 Hours. Brian James was the police chief in 48 Hours. That was not the police chief in that. So I totally screwed that up.
That's okay. Because
I stepped on your movie.
You Scrooged that up because I forgot to put on my list. Sorry.
Have you been nipping at the eggnog, Ed?
This is not one of our better episodes. But anyway,
it's full of holiday cheer.
That's right. I do. I've got my rum-filled eggnog in here. Scrooged, which I was going to say.
What'd you say?
Scrooged.
Oh, I thought you swore at me. Go ahead.
No, Richard Donner again, Bill Murray, Carol Kane, Lee Majors. It is
Jamie Farr.
Yes,
he's in that movie.
Yeah.
You want more? Okay, you stopped. I was like, all right. The
John
actor
Forsythe?
that was in who?
John Forsythe.
John Forsythe's in there, but I was thinking of the guy that was in Bonnie and Clyde, who died, and he's in that movie.
Great. This is great. This is our research, people. Look at that.
No.
Anyway, Scrooge is a bit of an underrated film. It's got a great sense of humor, some good slapstick elements.
John Glover is the actor I was thinking of. Now, he didn't die, but he's in that movie. John Glover, John Glover.
Good. It's
Lex Luthor's father in another show.
Who is in Gremlins 2?
It all connected, Ed. I'm sure Shane Black wrote it as well.
He probably did. What's your last one, Mitch?
My last one is A Twilight Zone. I just watched it again the other night for the millionth time. It's The Night of the Meek, starring the star of the Star Wars Holiday Special himself, Mr. Art Carney, right there.
He looks more like Marty Feldman in that shot. His eyeballs are going.
What it is, it's a story of Santa Claus who's down on his luck, a bit of a drinker, and he goes and gets a job at the department store, and he gets fired because he's drunk. And he goes outside and he finds a bag on the ground, and he opens it up, and whatever you ask for is that bag. And for one magical moment, he becomes Santa Claus, and he goes to the soup kitchen and he gives all the bums a pipe and a bottle of booze and whatever they want. And then he gets arrested, and they go, well, you stole all these things. No, I didn't steal them all. Whatever you want is in that bag. And sure enough, he goes, I want a bottle of scotch, and here you go. And it's just a very nice story. It's only about 25 minutes. It's one of the first ever TV shows filmed on videotape. So when you go to watch it on Netflix, it looks very odd. It looks like a soap opera type of thing, but it's in black and white. It's not a grainy, it's not film. It's just a very off-putting thing when you watch it. You're like, wow, this is like three-dimensional, but it's in black and white. So again, Night of the Meek, it's a classic Twilight Zone, one of the best ones they ever did. And that was my hidden gem of a Christmas special movie TV, and that rounds out my list. So Ed,
and it's a good list.
That's all I have.
This episode, of course, which is a Christmas show that you could repeat every year. Watch every year, please.
It'll keep coming up on you like grandma's old pecan pie head. It just repeats. Ed, we do want to thank all the viewers this time of year for being a part of the show. We've been doing this now for March we started?
I think so.
Like 8 or 9 months, something like that. One of the good things that came out of the pandemic is we started doing this show. So there you go.
So thank you very much to everyone who's been watching and subscribing. Again, remember, hit that subscribe button below. That'll be great, and you'll get notified. We've got some great shows coming up in the new year as well. We'll be looking at, Wonder Woman 84. We're going to be looking at King Kong. I'm sure we've got MASH. I know we had a comment about you must do on one of our earlier episodes, Happy Days. They said, you've got to do MASH.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, there's a lot of Happy Days. I was going to put that on my list. There's a lot of Happy Days Christmas episodes, including when Fonzie meets his father, which is a really cool episode. He meets his father, but he doesn't know that he actually met his father because the guy doesn't say who he is. Go watch that when it's on there. So anyway, you were saying we got a lot of shows. We got Knight Rider was one people have asked to see, which I'm like, okay. And then we've got shows and movies from the 80s like War Games, Short Circuit, Poltergeist. I think
I'd love to do The Shadow if we're going into the 90s.
The Phantom.
As well.
The Rocketeer. We've got a lot of stuff.
We've got lots coming up. So lots to look forward to. But certainly from both of us, we'd like to wish you out there a very Merry Christmas, a safe New Year. And we'll be back pretty soon. I'm sure we will. Won't we? There we go. It's Kenny Rogers is back.
We don't need Christmas.
That's I don't know if you're Kenny Rogers or ZZ Top.
I'm kind of a both. I'm Kenny ZZ.
Or ZZ Rogers. Anyway, this is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Halleck, as my grandma would say, Merry Christmas and yippee-ki-yay, you mother.
I wasn't going to. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.